What up with it?
What up? What it do? We on IG Live too over here. This Teasy table.
This is Teasy table.
Yeah, so you run lead, you run point on this, brother.
Yeah, man. Welcome everybody to Teasy's Table. Episode 2. We are here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are giving you the content through all the Ronas and the macaronis and everything that is going on.
We are 6 feet apart.
We are 6 feet apart.
And we the only ones in here, so social distancing. We are like obliging by all the laws.
We are here, and first
I washed my hands 8 times.
Me too. Every time,
32.
32 times.
32.
Well, listen, man. We hope everybody out there is safe. There is a pandemic, as they say, going on in the world right now.
As they say, know what's happening.
And we know
know what's going.
You know what's happening. When everything is shut down to a point, when you can't get certain food delivered to your house past.
Bruh, I went to Walmart at 8 o'clock and they closed. They said, nope, get on out. I'm like, oh, wait, hold up, wait. I just want a blender.
Yeah.
I go into Walgreens whistling. Trying to give me some spring water, right? 'Cause that's what I drink, spring water. I go into that thing clean. Whistle. All that's in there, little Zephyr Hills.
I didn't stock up on enough orange juice, though. My immune system needs to be a little higher than usual.
I went out there for waffle mix. All that's gone. All that's left is the Aunt Jemima wheat mix, and ain't nobody wanted that. All right.
Them things as good as Cracker Barrel biscuits.
You don't want your pancakes burnt in 2 seconds.
Right,
But
I was like,
we decided to come together, guys, and give you guys some awesome content. We wanted to be able to give you guys not only more consistent shows, but when we come together, we want to give you guys a special kind of party, and how we could do that is with Teasy's Table.
Block party.
One thing I wanted to bring up.
Oh, before we get into that, we need to do the introductions. You know who this is. So, it's Isaiah Swerve Scott over here. You can follow me on Twitter, Swerve Confident, IG, Isaiah Swerve Scott. We got my man Syiren over here. If y'all not familiar with Syiren over here, Syiren has been doing the video work and the videography work for Swerve Talk. No. Yeah. Have you done some Swerve Talk stuff?
No, I came. All right, so I came in like a little bit after, like right when this whole YouTube Swerve City podcast thing started. I was here. I am the OG videographer guy.
Yeah, he's the OG videographer, but he's also responsible for the I'm the Man music video. Mm-hmm. He's responsible for Swerve City music video. Mm-hmm. He's responsible for Broke Boys, and he's responsible for the upcoming body art video that's coming soon too.
Which is coming soon. We had some delays with the Rona and everything, guys, but that is still coming. Please just bear with us. Like, I don't know, some things are just out of your hands. So,
but that album coming though, regardless, that's not delayed. That's coming this week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys have your your credit cards and your streams and your Spotify subscriptions premium and your YouTube subscriptions premium, because we don't need the commercials on it. So we want our full stream.
I ain't seen a commercial in how many?
So make sure you guys go ahead and cop that album. Make sure you guys cop that album this Friday. This Friday.
Friday, April 4th.
This Friday, y'all. Come on.
It's coming on Spotify, it's coming on Google Play, and it's coming on iTunes. And it's going to be up on YouTube as well.
Absolutely.
You got none of the streams. There's no way you can avoid this album. You can't run from it. You can't run from the sound. The culture's here. Swerve City, Humble Beginnings, April 4th on all streaming platforms, all media devices.
You excited for it?
Of course.
I mean, he's been hearing the cuts for like a year now, so.
All you people in the chat, let me ask y'all a question. And let me direct the camera to me. Look, all y'all that are live right now, thank you guys for tuning in.
God.
Are each and every one of you subscribed to the YouTube channel? Are you guys subscribed to the YouTube channel? Are you guys signed up as exclusive Patreon members? Are you guys signed as exclusive Patreon members? Are you guys following us?
Matter of fact, today we just hit 3,000 followers on YouTube and subscribers.
Absolutely. See, man, we climbing.
Yeah.
Some dark times.
I mean, there's more subscribers, there's bigger pages out there, but that's a big accomplishment for us and our group, for the Swerve City team, the Swerve City family.
Listen, starting this off from where we were when we barely had 500 subscribers, and we were like, "Hey, y'all, we got 500 subscribers."
We were barely pulling 100 views.
Yeah,
facts.
Yeah, that too.
So I remember those days. I'm appreciative of every single subscriber, every person that watches, every viewer, every Patreon member. I'm appreciative of all of y'all, because y'all helped build this up, and with y'all building us up, we were able to bring y'all more guests and more content and more aesthetics
Yeah.
to this
or
whole
everything.
thing.
Like, didn't always look like this.
No.
Just gonna throw this out there.
No.
Also, too, before we get into the context of this show, shout out to Around Seattle, man. Shout out to Around Seattle.
Another big supporter. Who's like our first big supporter.
Absolutely. And while you guys are here, on Teasy's Table, subscribe to the Swerve City Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you guys, that is how you spell it, because I always get that. I would say that every single show, because you guys always ask me how to spell it. The same person does, but I haven't,
Also, can I shout out to our brethren who are not here? Mike at Behind the Mic, my partner in crime, who also isn't here, the editor for us. He's not here right now. Shout out to little big sis Ariel Monroe.
Big Swole.
Big Swole. Oh.
Yep.
Big Swole. Shout out to Big Swole.
That's just as bad as saying Cedric's wife.
Yeah, she gonna get me for that. Shout out to Big Swole. We'll see you soon. Be well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, we're going to get into some music talk here because there's been a lot that's been going on. Me and my bro over here, we reviewed the album. We reviewed the album we will get to shortly. But first, let's go to the current topics. There's been a lot of Instagram battles going on, man.
Yo.
And what we mean by that is two, legendary guys in their own sense of what they did in different ways. I hear some females are getting involved in things like that, but to give more context, guys are getting on their IG lives. Timbaland and Swiss Beats just had a battle. They just went on IG Live and battled their catalog. One person, they both get 20 songs apiece. They could play up to a minute, and they were battling their catalogs. And it had over like 200,000 live people at the same time with their channels together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like coming together and having fun. It was good competition. It was good fun. And they were having a good time. They were drinking and happy and all that. But you also kind of get remiss on how many classics.
Party foul.
How many classics, that's Benita Applebum, shout out to Tribe Called Quest. You'd be surprised, like when these guys are playing these hits on their Instagram lives, how many hits that you forgot that these guys had.
Yeah.
Sean Garrett and The Dream just had an Instagram battle where they were going back and forth on songs that they co-wrote and wrote for other people.
That was the one I heard about.
That was the one I heard about too. I'm surprised I haven't heard about this one. Actually, I've been sleeping.
About Tim, it was their idea.
I've been seeing clips afterwards, but I haven't been watching like live. But I've been like catching up on everybody else's comments and what they were thinking about it.
Right.
Everybody's having a good time with it because like my stream is just party foul number 2. You're on strike 2, Syiren. Syiren, you're on strike 2. This ain't even my show. This Teasy show. I'm delegating for him.
I literally
step up.
I literally put on Do Not Disturb and everything.
iPhones.
It's good. We're good, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, Syiren
should be good right now.
Syiren putting in work over here for his phone to be blown up like
Lord
that.
have mercy.
As we continue, have you been able to check any of it out, Syiren?
I have not, but
I'm going to
I'm going to as well.
But I'm also missing alerts. I'm like, what is the big like? Where's the notifications when this is coming up?
I guess also to be fair, I haven't really been on social media like that too, like the past week or a couple days.
There ain't no reason to scroll because every time you scroll on social media, it's live. Coronavirus.
Everybody got something to talk about.
Coronavirus.
Alert. And then you get these alerts on your phone. Like, remember, only 3 people in the boat at 2:00. After 6:00, only 1 person per boat, per adult, 1 child in the bed by 8. Please sleep.
Curfews keep going down times. It was 10 o'clock, now it's 9. 8 o'clock. I'm like, got to be in by 6. I'm like, it's still sun out. It's hot in the house.
Absolutely. So my point of bringing up the IG battles is if you guys had to pick 2 people that hasn't done it or you haven't heard that done it to do like a battle of their catalogs, who would you like to see?
Well, it's crazy when you brought it up and you said Timbaland and Swiss went at it because for the longest...
I remember the Just Blazing Swiss one.
I remember
that was a while ago.
I remember that one too.
Blaze got smoked.
Yo, so Swiss kind of low key cheated though. Didn't Swiss bring out like an unreleased track?
And it was over. It was Jada,
over well before that.
Jada, Nas, Jay, and somebody else.
It was DMX.
Yeah. And all 4 of them was on the same song.
Yeah. And like Just was just like looked like
he's like, ooh.
The song ain't over yet?
Ooh.
Oh, it's another hook?
Baby.
Like, I can't bring out NBA Streets Volume 2 beats.
No. Game break. Yeah, that little scratch record on that part. And when you get your game breaker, I did that beat. Remember that? Everybody's like, I'm like,
fly swatter. No, you can't put that on there. No, but anyone you would like a dream like IG battle?
Well, I thought Tim and Pharrell was supposed to do it. That was like the rumor for a while. So I'm surprised like Tim and
I want to see
Swiss went at it.
I want to see Kanye and Pharrell go at it.
That would
be dope.
That would be anything Kanye, Don Q, Hitmaker.
Ooh,
Hitmaker's been on some stuff too.
Let's see. I'm trying to think.
That's new school stuff.
Yeah, new school
stuff. New school stuff. Hitmaker.
I would like something like
Hit Boy.
More bass effective. I'll say like Mike Will made it verse. But I don't know. Now that I said it, I'm just trying to think. Does Mike Will have that catalog like that?
Yes.
Like that.
Now here's what we were talking about when we had what's the old boy that battled Neo last night?
Jonte Austin.
Jonte Austin. Now it was a good battle from what I've seen. Just from like they put like a highlight of like a 4-minute clip, so just kind of ran through the majority of the stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we need to really decipher what's a really good song to what's a hit. There's like Neo wrote hit after hit after hit, and like when they were showing what's in the Jonte Austin's catalog, I'm hearing like good song. I remember that song. Good song. Hit. Good song. Good song. It's like there's good songs and there's memorable songs. He probably like went platinum and gold with some of those records and everything. But like I just was looking at Neo's catalog. I'm like, man, these are just all hits. Like a majority of them were his, and then they were just like for other people's as well. I'm like, just hit after hit after hit. Like I think that's what wins battles for me. When you got to go through people's catalogs of work. Right. It's the hits.
So I would say, in the sense of, in my opinion, I would say that in the sense of his album catalog, Jonte probably has him. As far as the album catalog, now as far as hits, he wrote "Excuse Me, Miss" hit. "I Miss You" by Lee is a hit. The song with Mariah Carey and Jermaine Dupri. I wasn't a big fan of that song, but it was a hit. It was a hit.
But that's 4. And if you're doing 20 songs,
yeah, you're doing 20 songs. Then listening to his catalog, a lot of them were like lead singles or just album cuts, and Neo had more of the
hits,
more of the powerful hits. Now, Mike and outgoing, my personal opinion, I like Jonte's music more as far as his songwriting, but as far as hit music, Neo got him. So it's good. My thing is they're talking about trying to get Diddy in it. And I'm like,
it was saying it was Diddy and who? They was like trying to get Diddy against somebody.
They're trying to get Dre with Diddy.
Dre and Diddy would be disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think Dre would get him.
I think Dre would get him too.
Dre and
could you imagine the comments?
Yeah, Dre.
Well, Diddy ain't pay this guy. Did he?
They have rights to this beat? No.
Did Diddy actually like produce, like make beats?
Yeah, I think he produced an A&R.
Yeah. I always looked at Diddy as more of like the guy like you kind of, hey Diddy, Diddy is like, okay, hey, this might sound hot or that's hot. You guys should do this.
That's still producing?
I mean, it's still producing, but it's like
he's like,
it's like different.
Hey, y'all should totally drop the beat on that part.
So he would like, he's like,
okay.
He's like a, I would say Diddy is like a experienced, like a masterful arranger of a song.
Arranger, yeah.
Yeah.
Orchestrator,
right.
Arranger.
He's not behind the boards pressing, but he'll put the song together.
He Lucius.
Right. Yeah.
Lucius line.
Absolutely.
I didn't see Lucius push no button. He just sitting there like, he not doing the song right, man. He ain't doing the song right. And he's like, he need that lion fire. That fire. And then that's all he did. That's all I seen.
So,
but at least dude from Hustle and Flow was actually hitting the switches.
Whoop that dude.
Okay. So I have to make it be clear. The main camera just died, so it's gonna be we're gonna do a little DIY, little guerrilla style film.
Even better.
Let's do it. Let's do it for the hood, man.
So yeah.
Even better.
All right.
There's gonna be lost camera footage on the apocalypse.
Absolutely. so this is
Cloverfield gonna be outside. Keep the camera rolling.
So as we proceed to give you what you need. So Swerve had a great idea of a conversation he wanted to bring up as well. We were talking about artists that like that you would like that a lot of people wouldn't support at first. Like let's say like he'll bring up his artists as well for his argument that people that they wouldn't, you always support them no matter what. Like no matter what the situation is, no matter what, you've seen them grow, You've always supported them from the very, very beginning, and no matter, you've seen their comeuppance, and you've seen them come up from the very beginning of where they was at, and you was the only person defending them. Like, you was the only person holding them down.
You're in the minority.
Right, and you're in the minority of, supporting that person. So we'll start with Swerve and move around the table here.
Like I've said this before in some of the upcoming chit traps that we have coming out soon, so it'll just be repeating myself again. Like, I was a big Tyler Creator supporter back in like 2010, 2009 when Odd Future was really starting to pop. And they had the mixtapes and everything coming out. But at that time, he wasn't the cool person to support because he was so weird in left field with everything. And fast forward 10 years later, that's why, like I said this in one of the Chit Trap episodes, like that's one of the things I'm appreciative of as far as in music, just seeing his evolution as an artist to finally getting the recognition he deserves at the Grammys and everything like that, and getting like a hip hop album of the year for Igor and everything. Like, that's what I think. There's an important lesson to that people are so, like, our society in general is so fixated on looking at the product that they see before them and judging them as an entire performance, as an entire brand, as what they are. That's what they are. And so they're judged as and labeled. Boom, that's what they are. And people don't look at potential of that person, of said brand and performer. And I think we need to do that with our artists, and I think we need to do that with our performers, whether it be in comedy, like comedians. The comedians are not going to stay the same forever. No. Your favorite wrestlers aren't going to stay the same forever. Your favorite musicians are not going to stay the same people for the next 4, 5, 6 years. And some people it takes even longer. It takes like 12 years for certain people to pop off and truly evolve into the finished product of what they are.
Like a Royce.
It
took him
like a Roy. Royce took forever.
It took Royce around 5 months, a long time. Yeah,
M was like 29 before he got his first mixtape listened to finally.
Yeah.
2 Chainz, 40, finally popped off and went in as like 2 Chainz going from Titty Boy. Like, we need to really like understand what the new artist is at the or wherever they are in their career at that time, that they're not going to be that way forever. Like, I really think, and we judge it. We're so quick to like point and judge them as to like, I can't mess with him. I don't like him. This is who he is, and he's not going to go any bigger. I'm not a fan. Like, and here's another thing. I can understand being not a fan of certain things, but just to shut them down as to like, just shutting someone, just like counting someone out and shutting them down altogether, though. That's where I have a problem with. But also, if you're gonna support said person, you got to understand that you got to receive the smoke from that. You're gonna take ridicule just as much as the person who is the performer in itself. They're going to take smoke. They take smoke. You got to take smoke as well for being the supporter of it. And you got to be able to stand on your own pedestal and be like, yeah, I still support them. Even though it's not cool to. Yeah, I'm still riding with them. I'm still rocking with them. So if they do like fall off or fail and don't meet the expectations, at least you still like, well, he didn't make it. I still supported him. But when they take off, you can be the first one to be like, yeah, I was listening to him back in so-and-so 8 years ago, 6 years ago, I was telling you about him. Like, Gambino wasn't that cool to listen to when he had Camp album, or when he had Cul-de-sac, or when he had like all these other mixtapes and everything before that.
I would say he started building his following around Camp. So I say that was
he built the following, but like because the internet is where
the internet was like kind of when he like everyone kind of, if you weren't on the Childish Gambino bandwagon, you kind of jumped on because
you jumped on because the internet was the jump on stage. Yeah, but exactly. Built the following was Camp, but before that was like Cul-de-sac and like some I forget the names of the mixtapes now, but I was listening to it then and it was like the Freaks and Geeks record, the video and all that stuff. When he was doing Derek Comedy on YouTube in 2008, I was watching.
I actually remember that.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that was him until like I watched like some like behind the scenes videos like, oh, and he used to do this. I was like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
like,
I remember watching it. Like I followed him for a long time, but he wasn't the cool person to listen to or to co-sign with. Like at that time, Drake was hitting his stride and like popping off, and like Big Sean took off right there. The J. Cole was like. He had it, then it kind of dipped a little bit, but then he just took off again. There was a lot of people but there was also a lot of artists that were coming and going.
Too many.
too many to name like at that time, but like I stayed true to like, yo, Gambino is that guy. And now we just listen, which segues into where we're about to go. We listen to the new Gambino record that he just dropped and put out on Spotify.
That album,
talk about that.
That album was incredible, man. I like, my thing is, maybe I grade on the curve about certain things, but the lack of R&B music that has soul in it is like, when I hear somebody do that, I'm automatically tuned in. I'm a grade on the curve every time. I'm not gonna pick it. There's no picking it apart. I'm just listening because I don't hear it anymore. And the way R&B
you don't
is,
feel it anymore. That's the thing. You don't feel
R&B is in a real. It's in this real like weird hip hop mash to where like it almost feels like people aren't really like sing like the soul. It's like the soul isn't really there.
No,
and it's like mostly like you said, the soul's not really there, and it's mostly just a lot of dudes like singing over trap beats and stuff like that. Which I mean, it's cool, but
a lot of people can do that. I'm a really appreciative person of like hearing every single layered instrument come in and come out and fade in and come out, and then like the vocals come in and out, and you appreciate, and like a lot of people say you can't make like 6-minute songs, 5-minute songs anymore. Everybody's doing everything in 2.5. Like for radio play or album cuts, a lot of people just want to be in and out, and the next track in and out. They want to get through your whole album in like 30 minutes now.
Yep,
that's the attention span.
Yeah,
songs on the radio nowadays is like, not passing 2 minutes, bro.
No, not at all.
Very true.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like I appreciate Gambino putting an 8-minute song on those records, and then just like experiencing the ride, build it up, being patient, waiting for that suspense of the beat drop and the guitar, all the strings, like the keys, and that frequency sounds in the back, the wow wow wow, and then the synthesizers. Every little piece comes in at the right times, and you're patient for it, and you feel something from that, and I appreciate that about that artistry.
Question: how do y'all feel about cursing in like R&B? Like dude going, I don't give a F, blah, 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 blah,
it's just rapping.
Or I should say, not cursing.
You're just rapping in.
But like very explicit, like
like Janet Jackson explicit.
Okay, so Janet Jackson was explicit, but it was a different kind. Like it was like almost like she didn't have to or artists like that in that time didn't have to directly say what they were going to do.
I like it in code, bro.
Yeah, it was a little bit more of a code to it.
I like it more in code. We know what "ride my pony" means. We know that. Yeah. But the way that he wrote, the way that it was written, was so tastefully done.
Yeah.
Yep.
That even though kids shouldn't have been singing it, they were singing it because it was such a great record.
They put that on Kids Bop.
Right.
Like, yo,
ride my horse.
Like, no. Little 8-year-old Ashley singing "Come On In." I'm like, oh,
whoa,
no,
I like
Ashley.
it in code because it's tastefully done. Like the most
more times than not. More times than not. Tastefully done. Yeah.
At least in like the 70s, 80s, a lot of the 90s too. But I like it. I like it when it's written in like a very tasteful. Teddy Pendergrass closed the door.
Like,
you know what I mean?
And he who not shall be named, Tarbelly, half on a baby is that's a pretty clever way to be like, hey, come in and get this loving.
Yeah, because like he was discussing here's what's going to come of this. Yeah, this is the product of
called the vibe,
of the bibbity bop, but of the skibbity pat. This was going to happen.
But
like I understand what you mean though. Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't mind the cursing. I don't check for like overly cursing though. I swear I kind of get tuned out of it.
Right.
It's just like over accentuated. I'm like, yes, we get it.
Mm-hmm. Like alright, so I say this. I tell people this. This is a running joke at work. Like every time we talk about music. Every time we talk about music, I go, The Weeknd, as much as I love him, he has a lot of there's a lot of times where he like awkwardly curses. Just like it feels like it kind of
baby, damn.
Like it kind of just takes you out of the moment, like just ever so slightly. You're just like, oh, that wasn't needed. Like even though like dude is great.
That's probably how he actually makes love, bro.
Like it's the song "Earned It" is what I always bring up. Like, this girl, you earned it. Now you don't Now, if you've only heard like the radio version, you don't
I don't
hear
hear
it.
the radio version. I kind of listen to them like that.
Yeah, so I
How's it
like
go?
if you listen to like the actual album version, you know, he drops like the S-bomb. Like right after that, girl, you earned it.
She.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, what? Like, why are you? Like, it just
Like,
kind of
ew.
just felt unnecessary, and it just threw me off. And it's hilarious.
And seeing that was like a soundtrack song too.
Yeah, it was for the 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah.
So that's definitely not needed.
Yeah.
I feel like you're trying to catch the explicitness of the movie when you're doing that. like like they're doing this. Yeah.
Like, so who is somebody that, like, if you could sit in a studio session with one person and just listen and get out of you, like, you can't record, you can't do anything in artist mode. You just have to sit there and just experience it. Who are you gonna sit in the session with?
Also, just like it's their creative session. And I'm just like,
You're just there. You can't shoot no footage. You can't edit nothing. You're just there.
08 Music Soul Child for me. When Love and Music.
Yeah.
No, that's 06. That's like 06.
06.
06 Love and 06 Music Soul Child Love and Music album. That session, I would have just been like, I just sat there and just been zen. Not said a word. Matter of fact, he don't even got couches in the studio. It's just even carpets.
And incense.
Yeah, just burning. I would have been like, yep. As a scientific standpoint, I would love to sit in on an Eminem session. I've always thought that, just to see how the process of.
I am not shocked.
No. You canceled. Just to see the process of writing and formulating the rhyme schemes of how he puts that stuff on. Like,
I would like to know if he actually does write like a lot of that stuff. So that'd be actually pretty.
I don't see who can write for him.
No. Not saying just to see if like how much of it's actually written, how much of it's just off the top.
Muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right.
a muscle that's been flexed for like 40 years.
Yeah. That'd be something I would like to see, like if like how much of it.
I think he can
is
weave in
writing,
and
how
out of it
much
now.
of it is
At this
like,
point,
yeah.
I would like if we could say like a classic album time. Good.
But currently, if you want to go currently, yeah,
Rona.
no,
Yeah.
I don't got the shakes. I'm good.
No, but you were saying what,
Projectile vomit.
All right, so who's going next?
As far as a current artist right now, Anderson .Paak
Yes, I was gonna
would
say
be
that.
a fun one.
That would be dope.
I would love.
You don't know which direction that music's going, and it'd be funky. And his features,
Features are always good.
always a good feature.
I would love to sit in on the album No Worries that he did with Knowledge. I just would just love to sit on.
No worry.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Still
great.
I know like he's made better albums than that, but No Worries for some reason is still my go-to.
It's hits.
Yeah, for some reason that album's
hits all
still
the way
my
through.
go-to when I have to.
I think it's better than Venice.
I think Venice. Oh, okay. I always debate this with myself. I feel like Venice slightly has more variation, but man, like Yes Lord just hits.
Yes
man.
Lord.
Yes Lord just hits.
Top to bottom.
Just hits. Like you
Yeah.
just put it on and you just like.
I think, like I said, I think it's better than.
Yeah.
And it's quick too, like
it's not long.
eight songs.
No,
9 songs.
no. Yes Lord's pretty long. Like Yes Lord's, I want to say like at least maybe like.
No, it's like 11 songs at the most.
I want to say like maybe I feel like 15.
You could be right. I don't know.
Yeah, but it goes through quick. Like it goes by.
But that-
quickly.
yeah. Smino has a good project out there. If anybody listened to Smino, who's
Clean.
Yep. He's been on the Dreamville projects. If y'all listen to the Dreamvilles,
Shout out to them.
Revenge of the Dreamers.
Shout out to them. Them boys and
everybody, every last one of them talented.
Amazing.
Revenge of the Dreamers with Dreamville.
I'd have
record.
to so if we're going in 3 different categories, if it's a classic project being made, I have to sit on the first college dropout, like the only
With Kweli in there in that
with
room,
like that
Consequence.
because I would have normally been like Get Rich or Die Trying, but I wouldn't feel like shooting anybody.
No, that wasn't done in one studio.
ducking
They had to
shots.
move sessions.
They had to move this. Now I would have I would have.
I feel like he did that record like in the movie Get Rich or Not Trying, out in the boondocks somewhere. Like he had to hide. I feel like that's where Get Rich or Not Trying was made.
I would have liked to be in the session for Patiently Waiting though. I would have liked to been there for 50 Cent and Eminem when they recorded that record. But I would say College Dropout, those sessions would Get 'Em High and Breathe In, Breathe. Oh my God.
I would have loved to have been in there for the Late Registration.
That too.
That's my favorite.
We Major with Nas.
Yeah.
Listening to that session.
I heard the beat and I ain't know what to write. Oh my God.
I remember.
Let's give me the chills.
I remember I couldn't afford a Ford Escort, not even a 4-track recorder. Someone's only right that I let my drop in the drop top Porsches. That's for yourself. That's important. Yo, stop it. Stop. I'm like, come on, man.
Kanye, look, I'm gonna tell you something. Live, recording. Get back with Really Though and get back together with Really Though and Rhyme Fest and please co-write with them again because when y'all three was together,
Magic.
Kanye was smashing every verse. Everything Kanye was smashing.
Yo, even like not even on Slum Village with
oh
my God,
like
So I switched my girls around like 3L Dub.
Those records were so incredible. I'm like, number one with freaking Pharrell. Talk About It with Brandy.
Oh, that is a forgotten gem.
Crazy
of a song.
verse.
This Way with Dilated Peoples.
Yeah.
Chicago win.
To Chicago win.
So we blow like
to Chicago win.
win.
I ain't gonna say that.
Wordplay.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
Right now, currently, I'd probably have to say Pac too because I would enjoy.
Pac would
it.
be a fun.
I have to enjoy the session, bro. I gotta enjoy it.
Yeah, you can't be. It can't be trash.
Yeah.
It can't be a trash session. I'll be mad.
I'm trying to think. I'm missing somebody.
I would sit in on.
I would say Tyler Creator's one, but that'd be weird.
That'd be.
I don't know. Them sessions would probably be weird. I'm like, Tyler, why are you throwing yogurt on the ceiling, bro? What's going on?
I got a bar.
I feel like he would do weird stuff just to do weird stuff.
Like,
just to say he did weird stuff and like
stop putting this blonde wig on me, man. Stop.
I would sit in on. Okay, we're talking. I don't know if this album's considered a classic as of yet, but I would definitely want to sit in on Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly" because he worked with a lot of like my like favorite people. Like he worked with Thundercat. If you guys haven't checked out any of Thundercat's music, definitely check that out.
At first I did love you, but I just want to bump. I said bump.
Oh, okay. yeah, me scared there for a second. I'm like, oh.
It was sorry. We was like,
and I'm thinking of you. I was like, ooh.
Until I get my planners.
Yeah.
But that right there, that's actually an acceptable way to curse in your R&B and your singing.
Very true.
That's slick. It's slick and smooth.
Very true.
So that doesn't turn me off of the record.
You were
But here's something I wanted to bring up as well because
this ain't free.
Oh, he spazzed on that.
Snapped.
He spazzed.
Snapped. Watching
Eating
that
your
session.
leftover and raw. Oh, he's like eating your leftovers and raw lunch meat. He was killing it.
Yeah. Burst pipes, burst the pipe. Oh.
You think we have a baby named Mercedes without a 20-inch rims and he just went off.
I'm like, the metaphorical like wordplay on that was disgusting.
Every dog has his day. No doggy style shall help. I was like, oh.
Oh man, dang! Now a Lupe session would be like ridiculous.
And Lupe recorded real. That's all I needed.
I want to sit on Mural. Let me sit on Mural.
Oh, where he just spazzed for like 11 minutes.
Like straight raps.
And Little Weapon too.
Little Weapon.
You know what's one of my favorite joints that doesn't really get much recognition? Gold Watch off of.
Got my Gold Watch on the cool
album.
Gold chain, my fancy broad and my diamond ring and ghetto broad and she's so plain.
I like that the beat cut on there. Like, give me diamonds up,
yeah. That's a pretty dope like snippet.
Yeah,
give me diamonds up,
I was like,
it just like plays throughout the song.
So this goes to another subject too. What is your favorite one-hit wonder R&B song?
Artist or
R&B song. One-hit wonder R&B song. They got one song, but it is fire.
Wayne Wonder, Tempted to Touch. I love that song. Wayne Wonder.
Wayne Wonder did that one?
Wayne Wonder,
Tempted to touch. Tempted to touch. Tempted to touch.
Tempted to touch.
I love you so much.
But I need it so much. I was like, oh, this joint, the video was the night. And then they mixed mixed it. They did a remix to it too.
Oh man, let me think. Ooh, dang, I can't. I want to say I don't know if this dude might be a one-hit wonder. Actually, no.
Okay.
No.
We can't hear from him ever again. That's how bad it is.
Oh, okay. I got it.
He never had a dip back. Yeah.
I got it. So when I say this title, y'all probably not gonna know who it is. Coffee, the after party.
Yeah. Brown coffee.
Don't stop till we gotta stop. Baby, do your thing.
My mom
Don't
played
stop
that record
till we
out like
gotta
crazy.
stop.
Rock with me,
Bro,
don't stop.
Yeah.
I will never not be in the mood for that song. I don't care if I just heard it like 100 times. I will never not be in the mood for that
City
song.
High.
What would you do?
You can't get home, go down on the bedroom floor because he's hungry.
That
was hard.
I played the crap
That
out of
was
that on that
hard.
the Life soundtrack. That's what soundtracks was popping.
Yeah.
We don't have soundtracks anymore. Please, can we get back on soundtracks?
Yeah, we don't have soundtracks.
The last hitting soundtrack we had was the 50 Shades of Grey and the Black Panther soundtrack. That was the only two soundtracks we had in the past 5 years.
And people would give up their top hits for those soundtracks back in the day.
People dipped in their bag.
People would give up their hits, dog.
You were getting like collabs that you never got on soundtracks. I need soundtracks back.
Yeah, you got like crazy songs.
You're winning Grammys on soundtracks on Black Panther.
Yo, the Nutty Professor has that
classic
that
Drew Hill
song. Touch me,
tease me.
That was for the Nutty Professor.
Yeah. So was Drew Hill.
Which
The
one?
Drew Hill joint was on there too. What was the Drew Hill joint on Nutty Professor?
I'm picturing the video, but I can't.
It wasn't in my bed.
No.
Somebody's sleeping.
No, it was
My
something.
bed, no.
The soul food though. You had soul food.
Mama.
Yeah. Little Boys to Men. And there was a We're Not Making Love. That was on Soul Food.
That was on Soul Food?
Yeah.
That was.
That was a Soul Food
That
track.
was.
Waiting to Exhale had soundtracks. Rugrats had the Maya joint.
Yep.
With 112.
I wanna
Like,
go there.
crazy.
Yeah.
People would give up their joints, bro.
Yeah, boy.
People would give up their hits, man.
Yo, Jay-Z and Blue Streak. Diamonds.
I know the song. I know the
he
song.
said it's all blue.
Jay-Z was like on Blue Streak, which wasn't that crazy of a big movie, but it was still like a
and
soundtrack.
then it had that. I got a criminal mind. I can't help it. I'm on my way.
That was hard. Who was that?
Tyrese. What more do you want from me?
Yo,
What?
Tyrese low-key had joints when he first dropped.
Some joints.
Seriously?
Like, he went through a 4-year period.
That was Tyrese?
That was Tyrese.
Black Tie? I didn't know that.
Tyrese got
Yeah.
hits, low-key.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. No, I knew. I'm not sleeping on Tyrese. I just didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
And then the Bad Boys too.
Bad Boys 2. No.
Smoking that na.
Smoking that la la la.
Hard.
Also,
hard.
you can't forget about Shake Your
Shake
Tail
Tail
Feather.
Feather.
Shake Your Tail Feather, which was everywhere.
Spazzed on La La
I'll
La.
never forget
bro.
that summer.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God, Jay-Z snapped on that
Snapped
song.
on that. Snapped.
Do you want me to do?
Snapped.
Bro, what?
Snapchat.
So let's bring this real quick before I forget this. My brother over here is now a songwriter.
I do.
He is now a registered songwriter.
I get credits.
He now gets credits as a registered songwriter and producer. And I wanted to ask him, because a lot of people didn't really get a chance to know this, what was the motivation for you starting to make music? And when did you first know? We all are, us as artists now, we know when we wrote something, we're like, yeah, I'm raw. When was that eureka experience like, yo, I got this? Talk a little bit about from your beginning to when you knew you had it.
Oh, so he been inspired to like slowly after every podcast, and I'd see him post another video or a song that Teasy's done with somebody else in his own independent lane. I was like, man, he's so good. I want to be that good.
You good.
I want to be that good. And then he was just keep pushing me and motivating me to try to get in the studio. I've always wanted to do it. Like, I wrote like a rap when I was like in 7th grade, and it was terrible. And I read it and that's how critical I am. I'll read something back like 3-4 times to myself, and if I don't like it the third time, it's terrible to me. Like, and it'll progressively get there. Sometimes I'll have the second read through or recite back, I'm like, no, it's bad. And then I'll never do it again. So I just kind of just left it away. But I've always been a fan of music and artists and like really like I'm very I like to dissect a lot of things. I watch YouTube videos to dissect a movie that I loved, and I want to know the reason behind this, the point of that tree standing on that section, why this camera's stuck over there, why this piece of the puzzle is there. I like to analyze every single thing if I'm passionate about it. And I've always been passionate about music and everything. And then when Teasy started really breaking down the formulas of doing it, I got re-inspired to get into it again. I'm like, maybe I can do this. So I found a beat. We went into the studio. I wrote the raps to it. I wrote the hook to the song, and it's just unreleased. You'll never hear from it because it was terrible. Once again, I listened to it a second time. Terrible, and I just no. But then the next time we got back in the studio to actually formulate my first rap verse was Broke Boys, and we drove, me, Sy, Swole drove all the way down there to St. Petersburg to get in the studio, and it's like the beat. That's when I really figured out how to listen to a beat, and the beat told me what to say. And Swole never wrote a song. Swole doesn't even sing. But for some reason, I just knew Swole. Like, I listen to her talk, every week. So I knew something told me, I was like, you got the voice for the melody that I need for this. And she didn't know it, but I feel like I knew it. So we put her in there. It was just a perfect storm. Everything just came together at the right time.
Accumulated.
Everything. Nicely. The beat was perfect. Shout out to, who's the producer on that one?
Broke Boys.
Broke Boys.
Broke Boys actually made the beat.
Yeah, Broke Boys.
That's Dave, yeah.
Oh, Broke Boy, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's actually a producer name.
Yeah,
Broke Boy. Yeah, that's the name.
Okay.
Yeah, Broke Boy.
So shout out to him. Shout out to Broke Boy for Broke Boy.
For the production on that.
Thank you, Broke Boy.
And yeah, so I was just like, and then just listened to the beat and it spoke to me. And then he laid his first verse down. I'm like, oh, okay, dope. All right, he set me up perfectly because now I even know how I want to sound. That's another thing I had to figure out, my breath control and how I need my voice to sound for the record, for the melody. Because you can't have the tempo of what Broke Boy is, and I'm way up here, like Busta, wild in your face, boom, bap, pow, up in your face like that. It had to match.
Surprise.
So and that's another thing. There's so many things that come into play when it comes to recording songs because you got to know how your voice sounds. You got to in the house.
My bad, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But you got to know how your voice is going to sound. I know how my voice sounds in life. You need to know how your voice is going to sound over a microphone, through cables, through a computer, on loudspeaker. That's a really technical thing that you got to know.
Man, it is one.
It's tricky. It's very tricky.
Ooh, it took me a while to get used to my voice.
And then then I had to get used to having the headphones on, hearing my voice back. And so I'd play back my same rap over and over again. I'm like, no, I can do that better. It doesn't sound right because the pitch isn't right. This isn't right. And I started finally analyzing things. And then when I finally figured out I knew how to ride a beat, stay in pocket, and switch my rhymes and keep the compound syllables matching throughout the whole rap was when we did Dishes in the Sink. And that's where I was like, I got it. And I laid it down faster than I've ever laid down any. That's still to this day probably my fastest verse I've laid down.
Yes. Coming this Friday, you'll hear Dishes in the Sink.
You'll hear Dishes in the Sink. I don't care if you skip over every other song. Go to Dishes in the Sink. That's fine because I think Teasy killed me on that one too. But
nah, he ate my lunch on Dishes in the Sink, bro. Y'all, he killed me on that one, bro.
Dishes in the Sink. Listen to Dishes in the Sink.
He be a humble dog. He murdered. I texted him the other day you got me on that one, bro. I kept up, but he killed me.
Can I say what my favorite song that I've heard this one?
Go ahead.
He's a block party. He goes to Block Party.
Block Party.
Block Party's his favorite.
Block Party is my favorite.
As soon as that beat drops, he goes, And Sy's a hard critic, probably the hardest critic out of all of us. Swole's supportive of everything, but Sy is Mike is very
yeah, that's very Mike.
Mike goes,
man,
that's
maybe.
Mike.
Yeah.
But Syiren will be that's Sy. It's never an in between with Sy. It's that's dope, that's hard. Oh, that's hard. Or it's and walk away. So Sy is the critic, but when I see Sy react to a Block Party and just I'm like, that's the one. We got it. Like, no, we're not redoing, we're not re-recording or nothing.
So it's crazy because like doing this. So I give you guys a little bit of a backstory from my end, right? Like I've been doing this so long that sometimes your fire just goes out, and you could just have all the bars, you can have all the concepts in the world, but you just don't have it anymore. So when I said, bro, you could do this. You can make music. You can do this. You can do this. Because I always say he looks like a rapper. I always told him that. He looks like an MC. Yeah. So I said, he could do this. He could do this. The best thing I did, and honestly, I don't like to talk about myself like that, but I'm glad that when we decide to do this, I'm like, bro, you have to take direction on the sound because it's going to help you develop as an artist. A lot of mistakes a lot of people make is the experienced guy gets into the studio and you try to formulate that person to how you want them to sound. That is the worst thing you can do.
Well, it hinders their
growth
and
it can hinder yours too. Mm-hmm. Because it's like Jamie Foxx said on Hot 97 the other day when I wrote Blame It on the Alcohol, it took that dude, the dude that told me to do it, I was like fighting against it, but it ended up being the best thing for me to do because it wasn't something that I'm used to doing.
Exactly.
So that's why I said when we got into the studio, the best thing I could have did was to stand back and say, bro, you direct the sound because it's going to make me better and it's going to challenge my ear in another way. So when we was in the studio doing this album, coming this Friday, when we're doing this album, I'm sitting back and I'm like, yo, bro, these beats he's picking is amazing. And to be on his first album, you guys will hear it when you download this project. And you'll hear it. You're just like the way he sonically picked the music out. To be on your first album and to have this impeccable sound that he did, not just saying this because I'm on it, but just how he did this, I always felt like he had it. Because every time we would talk music, I'm like, Swerve, you sound like a rapper when you're dissecting this. I said, you sound like me. And he doesn't sound like it.
Swerve, if anyone's ever like fortunate enough to have a conversation with Swerve, just about anything he's passionate about, you really just it almost makes you more of a fan, and it also gives you a different perspective. Me, I'm a film dude. I talk to him about film, and it always kind of like, I never looked at it that way. Huh, interesting.
Right. I think everything's perspective. Mm-hmm. It's not even just I don't think you have to be an expert at anything to have a perspective on it.
True.
And that's where, as a performer, we should get perspective from the consumer, because they're the ones that will William Regal told me this.
Shout out to Emilio. He's in the live right now.
What up, Emilio?
What up, man? Salute to you, bro.
What up?
One thing I was working in the ring with William Regal last month, and he said one of the greatest things that the fans give us isn't money, it's their time, because people value time more than anything in today's society.
True.
People don't have attention spans anymore. So you mean you get to get a person to get up, leave their home, bring their family or whatever, have money that they worked so hard for all week and spend it on you to watch you perform in the ring, and to sit there for 2 hours and wait for you to come up to perform. That's time given to you. And one thing we shouldn't do is waste their time. Or waste their time, but there's perspective. So we should value their perspective of why they do that for us. What makes that person, out of everything on Spotify you can scroll through, stop, look at Swerve City and hit listen. Not even download it or stream it yet, but just listen to it. There's value in that. And there's value in people that's going on YouTube to view and watch you because they're giving you their time.
Absolutely.
And now with this thing, we have a lot of time. Right. And so they could use their time for Netflix. They could use their time for watch Game of Thrones. They could use their time to watch another podcast that's really booming, picking up 4 million streams, or this dude's album release. But if I don't take perspective out of somebody else's views of everything, I'll listen. I don't care if you have 200 views on YouTube. If you're watching a movie that I liked and you have an opinion and perspective on it, I want to hear.
Exactly.
I want to hear it because I can't listen to the dude that has 2 million views over and over and over again, because now I know his perspective on every movie that he's going to listen to, because that's his perspective. I have to listen to the guy who has 200 views, 2,000 views, 20,000 views. I got to listen to all these people because that all formulates your vision.
And you know what else too, though? I feel like when we got into this project, and great points, bro, and I just wanted to furthermore add to that. It's like I feel like when you hear this album from Humble Beginnings, dropping this Friday, when you hear this project, you hear two people's worlds mesh, because I had a point to prove to myself that, listen, I've been in a certain lane for so long, I felt like I had to prove that I can make other branches of music outside of what people from my respective lane knows me for. And I also had to say, okay, and you put this album in a nutshell. If you could explain what, from a Humble Beginnings, from your perspective, Teasy, what would that album be? My bro, 30 years of life put into an album from his perspective and the way he sonically hears it. And me, the same age, how do I feel when I'm able to step back and let the music just speak to me? And I could just make music for once and let the music speak to me and learn how to get out of my own way. Because you also learn that music is extremely unselfish. And what I mean is, you look at some of the top hits of all time, it has like 7 writers on it.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson's songs has like 8 writers on there.
Oh, yeah.
They would contribute half a verse. This person would do part of a hook. The other person would add to the hook. The other guy would do the harmonies in the background for Michael to sing. Mm-hmm. And everybody came together to formulate one song. Mm-hmm. Some of the most legendary records have some of the most classic, songwriters and producers coming together, or the homeboy had an idea and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel when you hear this album. Sonically, when you hear this album, when you hear it from beginning to end, you'll hear our worlds mesh. And a lot of people has related us, all praise is due to them, but kind of like an outcast in the sense of how we are. Because you would see him as a Dre and me as a Big Boy, but you see that and the way we mesh together musically. I can't tell you how proud I am of him for this project, but also hearing how it sounds. For you to have your first song you ever rapped on and for it to be Broke Boys, you meant to do it, bro.
It's funny when you sent me. You never told me who was actually on it when you sent me like the very first track that y'all recorded, and I was like, I'm listening to it, and I hear like this other guy going off, and I'm just like, this sounds like Swerve, but I feel like he would have told me it was Swerve. So I hit the group chat. I was like, Swerve, you on this? he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, you got something, bro. You got something, bro. Like,
bro, you should see me though during this recording process. Like, I have made so many faces in the studio watching him go in, and just watching him become a sponge with the learning of recording. Because like he said, first is writing it.
Yeah.
Then is going into the studio, standing in front of this and being like, okay, I have to do this. I have to look at this if you write, and then I have to stay on cadence, and then I have to make sure my pitch is right, and then I got to say it. Then I got to hear it back and make sure I like the way I sound.
Mm-hmm. And like the way the rhyme scheme goes too.
And then the rhyme scheme.
Yeah, should it like, especially like ending the bar, should it be like or should it be like this or should it be or should it break, drop the beat, pause it, and then go into the.
But how many times have you?
A million different things.
And then the one thing you have to adjust to is learning to improvise in the middle of you recording.
I've done that several times.
I do that every time we record. Words I have to cut out, skip. I'm just like, it sounds good in my head.
Yeah, but when you put it out there, it's like, well, you can even rap it to yourself out loud.
Right.
But when it goes through the studio and the wires and everything that comes out on it's a whole like, and I gotta say it like that. It's like it has to go through and travel through this speaker, the aux cable, all the way back to this, and reach out to the symphonic sounds, the SRX,
crazy,
the
bro.
THX, those speakers. It has to go through all that because that's a lot to do with sound. Yeah. And you don't really appreciate sound until you actually got to use that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Until you sit back and you have to play it back. But I'm gonna tell you something. There's no better feeling though than when it's done and you hear it back for that time in the studio, and you got them loudspeakers, and
you just sit back.
Right. The car test is the more analytical thing. The studio thing is like, yo, we did it. And you just on an emotional high. And you just like, yo, this song is crazy. When you sit in the car, that's when you start picking apart. And you're like, okay. Because I do that too. But you're like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. Briefly, though, let's talk about who we have on this project, bro.
I was just about to get into that because somebody's saying, oh, y'all need R-Truth, Josiah, Leo to drop a track in the video. We do have a track with Leo on there. Need Help. That's probably my favorite record on the whole project.
That's his
Need
child,
Help.
man. That's
my
child.
baby, and that was something I was like a concept. I was like, I only need Leo. That's the only person I can do this with us on this. And it was like the beat. Once again, I listened to the beat and it spoke to me, and I was just like, this is what I'm feeling from this. This is what I'm feeling from and I feel like somebody else can feel something from this as well, and I hope somebody does. I hope everybody does, and like that's something that was just like, I gotta handle this one with care.
Right.
Like yeah.
And absolutely, and for those mentions of the people that they're bringing up, the Josiahs, the R-Truths to the world, and shout out to Leo for that amazing hook. You know, it's not something that we aren't open to. Just the record has to be right. You can't just have anybody on anything. And I think that's you know, that can sometimes be a problem too. Is just saying for the sake of the title namesake, but the song isn't the right fit for the project at the time or what you're doing. So when I heard Need Some Help and I'm in the studio, I was I went last because I had to literally get into that mode. Like I had to.
You had to go somewhere.
I had to walk away and I had to say, okay, how was I feeling 3 years ago? And I had to get back in there. Like we was in the session and Swerve did his part, Leo did his part, and I had to like walk away for a second and just kind of get in the zone. And
yeah, me and Leo were actually on the road together, coming up with that song and like just harmonizing it back and forth because we shared the hotel together and we were just like, oh man, I don't want to sing the words because I want you to just hear the record when you get when you get Humble Beginnings
this Friday.
Yeah. And I was like, I was like, what about this? What about this? And he was like, oh, okay, dope. And and he just started writing it together, and then we filmed it on our phones. I sent it to you, and you was like, yup. You didn't know what to say yet.
I heard that. I heard like the first 10 seconds. I'm like, this is it. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. And this is it. And you know, and the great thing I enjoy about this too, man, is that so many people be so stuck that they're not willing to try out something else. Like, oh no, I don't like this beat. Oh, I like this beat. Oh no, you know,
it's not a beat I do.
And then every beat will sound like I'm on a DJ Premier beat. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. This is not for that. You know what I mean? Like you have to know. You have to diversify, like a Mortal Technique said, and he was 100% correct for this. You have to learn how to diversify your profile without losing who you are.
Exactly.
And
very tricky thing to do.
And it's very tricky. But once you figure it out, you can have 4 different lanes in different things that you do and not be able to lose a part of who you are if you can master how to do that. And knowing how when he played me the I'm the Man beat, when he played me Dishes in the Sink, which you guys, you know, listen to on the album coming out this Friday. It like you hear the project and the way he put that project together. I was sitting back and I said, yo, man, this is gonna diversify me. And I tell him all the time, this album has helped me so much because the respect that I've gotten as an MC was there, but from here, for people who've heard this and can actually hear what I can do outside of the lane that I'm known for.
Mm-hmm. I think Teasy fully 100% trusted me after I'm the Man.
Yeah.
I think after I'm the Man, he was like, all right, we're on the wave.
Yeah. I was like, you know, because Bro Boss was like, oh my God, because I didn't know Big Swole could sing. I didn't know, but you know, you don't want to stifle anybody's creativity. It look how it came out.
Exactly.
And then I'm the Man came out, and we was doing that, and then. For you know, make sure you guys go to youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast and check out that video right now, man. Edited, directed, Swerve City team. This guy here put his magical touch on there. Shout out to
talk about the features the feature people that was in that.
Absolutely, man.
Video,
so we had Cedric Alexander in that thing. We had
shout out.
We had Angelo Dawkins in that thing from the Street Profits. We had
he really like wanted to do it too. That was the really dope part too.
Yeah,
hype.
Yeah, he was texting me like, bro, when can we do it? When can we do it? He showed love, man. So
he showed mad love.
He came from Europe. Fresh off of Europe to hop in the video
and show us love.
Yep.
D.A. Brewer, the referee, man. the referee.
Shout out, man. D.A. Brewer was hilarious.
He was
Brewer with the greatest intro I could ask for.
Absolutely, man.
He was the old man.
Dio Medine, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man. Dio is cool.
Dio, one of the best people I've ever met, ever in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, all of it. Literally one of my favorite people.
Oh,
for him to come through and just be like, look aesthetically like, oh, Lenny Kravitz in 6'10". Like, yo, I love that man.
And the crazy thing is, like, we've given you guys so much great content, and you guys are gonna hear this album this Friday that we've already announced on our trailer that we have Project Pat on a song coming in the future. So
can't wait.
We have something coming with Pat, and just showing how many great people have shown love on this album. If you guys have seen the first preview trailer, the body art that we have, and that song's coming soon. Everything that's happening in the world right now, we'll get that to you guys as these guys eloquently said. To be able to have Juice from the Flatbush Zombies be in the music video with us, like that's monumental.
Can I also shout out to Juice for? I mean, I know that everyone knows what he does musically, man, but even like visual,
out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, even like visually, man. Like he was like on set giving like suggestions, being like, "Hey, yo, what if we tried this? And what is it? Try this." He actually saved some of some of our shots because it was we had like difficulties on set, like getting certain things working and stuff. He's like, "Well, what if we tried this instead?" And a lot of his ideas actually we end up using in the final, or we're going to end up using in the final product. So.
Because he has perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
experience as well, but perspective.
From humble beginnings, man, I'm very, very proud of this album to talk about it and seeing how we've come together to put together this body of work. I'm definitely going to get some vinyl copies for all of us. The vinyl, like, the old school vinyl scratch, old big disc, the old DJs in the 70s with the big afro, take the big black thing out. I'm pause. And I am going to moving on, yeah.
I want to scream it really loud right now, but I can't.
Moving on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, yeah, wow, that's my train of thought. So, yeah, cop the album.
This
is our last push. This is the last week push. The
last week push.
We need
man.
it.
Cop the album. Make sure you guys show love, man. And I'm so proud to talk about this, man. It's like having a kid, man. You know what I mean? Seeing a project.
This is my firstborn, so I'm really excited for it.
Right, and this is actually
I'm very excited.
My working with shout out to Dub too. Dub on 2 songs. Me and him have known each other as long as me and Sai have known each other 10 plus, and we've talked about doing music for years, and this is the first time we've collabed. We've sent beats to each other. We've done it. Just the music wasn't right, and with my bro and his ear and us coming together, you hear him on 2 songs on the album. So
2 tracks. We got Free and we got Right.
Yep, we got Right. We got Free. We got Right. We have Block Party, which I cannot wait to do that live one day because I'm jumping.
Block Party is a live, jump around, have
fun. I am telling you,
things.
If I trusted y'all, I would stage dive, but I ain't doing
it. Yeah. I don't even do that. I dive.
And
I don't trust that.
What else we got? We got Free. We got Dishes in the Sink.
My Baby, Broke Boys, the intro.
That intro beat.
Nuts.
Is crazy.
Malati.
Swerve brought up how I'm a really harsh critic, but as soon as he played that beat.
Yeah.
Swerve, do it.
Hit it.
Yeah.
We might. Hey, I'm about to play that when we get out of here, man. I'm just saying, because I miss it. Yeah, I want to hear it.
So
I'm excited. So
somebody on the IG Live brought this up. They said, briefly before we close this, they said they wanted us to do like some kind of performance of the song, one of the songs. I don't know if you want us to do it here or what, but
we can do that tomorrow.
Word, we could do it. We could definitely do it tomorrow. Performance of one of the songs. Maybe set up the mics and do something and give you guys some content as we give you guys.
Advertise that tonight then. Put that on for tomorrow.
Absolutely, from humble beginnings. You guys. What song would you want to do, bro? What song you think is dope?
Or should we do dishes?
Mystery.
Ooh.
You gotta tune in tomorrow to see.
You think you should do a mystery?
Yeah, do a mystery.
Wait, when's this video coming out?
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So you'll hear it. I mean, he already.
We ain't on the live no more. So
yeah, he already mentioned it. So we could do that one.
I'll do dishes, man. I'll spaz on dishes.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, do dishes.
Cool, bro.
We've been hyping up dishes.
So let's give them dishes in the sink tomorrow, man. So yeah, man. I mean, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Teasy's Table. We're having fun here, man. We're just here talking music. One thing about my brothers, we sit back here. One thing we're all passionate about is music, and This person's good. This person's trash. This person's mediocre. He's medium. He's well done. He's rare. So we talk about.
I'm like, all right, then put it on the table. See what it's like.
But he's the only person. Actually, these two guys. Actually, I will say are the only two people that can get me to sit down and listen to a whole project.
Yeah.
These two guys. You'll say, listen to this, and I will do it. Yeah. And he will sit down and say, I'm gonna play this, and I will listen to it.
Actually got him on the some Uzi too.
Yes, he actually did.
He did me as well.
He's a convincing guy.
Yeah. Well, now that I know y'all taste, I'm like, all right, for you, I can't give you the same food I'm going to give him. I had 2 different plates. so I know that.
Right. So, I really enjoy this, man. I really enjoyed this process. And we're in the studio. We're going to be cooking up some more stuff for you guys. Make sure you guys tune in. If you guys haven't, go to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get Tidal, wherever you get your music, and cop that Broke Boys that's out right now. Cop that I'm the Man that's out right now. By the time this is dropped, go ahead and get that from Humble Beginnings that is coming out for you guys to listen to some of the best material I've ever been a part of. And
my only material I've ever been a part of. This is just the start.
Like, this is just the start. And I'm so glad.
I'm addicted.
To be me too, bro. You lit the fire back, and this guy's doing me a long time back when I was physiological, mythological, and I'm not that guy anymore. So spiritual miracle Antoine is gone. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, man, and hit him with the closeout line, Swerve.
As always, be confident in everything as you do.
Wash your ass.
Or you gonna get a pop-up.
You gotta say pop-up now.
Or you gonna get a pop-up.
Pip, pip.
Miss you, Swole. Come back.
Yeah, it just don't hit the same.